Hello guys, welcome to another driving test video. So this was another video at another test at Bromley Driving Test Center, which took place on Monday the 19th of February 2024. Now the test time was 1:35 p.m. in the afternoon, and unfortunately this test was a fail. Now if you haven't watched the previous video I posted for Bromley, or if you have watched the previous video I posted for Bromley, this is again the same learner. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I want you to pay attention, because sometimes learners do fail on a test and you fail again and again and again. But every time this happens, you fail for different reasons. And this is often the case when you're nervous. When you're nervous, you tend to fail, but for different things, because you'll be making decisions that doesn't add up, thing that doesn't make sense, things that realistically you wouldn't have done. And that's because you're either being pushed because of pressure, or because of fear, or because of anxiety of, oh my God, you know, it's clearly not safe, but you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm holding people back, or I'm wondering maybe the examiner wants me to go, or, so you give yourself reasons to just push yourself into things that you shouldn't do. So that was the case here. So let's watch the video and, see how it goes. Now, if you have watched the previous one, and if you haven't, click the link below to watch that video. The learner got one serious fault and 8 driving faults, which are minor faults. And then on this test that you're watching right now, there are actually 7 driving faults and then 2 serious faults. So technically speaking, we have the same equal amount of faults, both serious and minor, as the previous one. But if you ask me though, I'd say this one was actually worse, because we then replace 1 minor fault with a serious fault and end up with 2 serious faults. So yeah, keep it in mind that if you're anxious and nervous, or you're scared, you're more likely to keep making different mistakes every time you attempt your test. So, and the easy way to know this is always the case that for every time you attempt it, you would always fail for something different. If you're very terrible at roundabout, it is more likely that every time you try your test, you fail at the roundabout or anything related to a roundabout, and vice versa. But when you're just dealing with anxiety or nervousness, it could be roundabout today, it could be judgment at the junction tomorrow, and then it could be something so random the next one. And that's what you've got to keep in mind. So coming into this bend, positioning was not so good. As you would see, we wandered a bit into the right hand side of the road here, and then before coming back to the left. Be very careful of this, because imagine if there was another vehicle following you as you approach the bend in the right lane, planning to go around through that point, and you do that movement without even knowing that that vehicle was there. Then that could be a very simple, serious fault. At the junction ahead, I mean, I know this road very well, and that junction is a very, very blind junction. So you can't really see until you get to the junction. And to make it worse, you can have parked cars on both sides of the road. And if you watch the video as we get to that point, the learner did not actually take a full stop to check properly before progressing. So she kind of rolled into that junction and rolled out of it without stopping. Now, that can be very dangerous on this road. So please make sure you stop and check properly before you go through at this junction. So right here is a pull up on the left exercise, and as you would see here, the gap between the car and the curb is actually quite wide. So that gives her one minor fault for positioning normal stop. Remember to keep right when you're turning right at this junction because it's a one-way you're coming out from. And here they're coming to pull up on the left again, and you would see from the side camera we've got another gap again. So that gives us the second minor fault for positioning normal stop. And as they turn left on this road, as you would see here, she got one minor fault for planning and awareness. So that's failing to plan ahead for this bus here and avoid just going right behind it.
To the city streets, we began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
At the traffic light ahead, Lena was turning right, and it seems like she wasn't aware of the fact that the lane was actually changing to 3 lanes. So kept in the middle lane and eventually changed to the right lane. Now, if I was to give a fault for that, it would most likely be a minor fault for awareness and planning, or you could also give a minor fault for response to flow markings or signs, or so I do have one of those two faults that I've mentioned on the list, but the question is, I'm not too sure what the examiner gave, because I wouldn't give a series for that, but we have a series for response to signs and signals. But that's not why we're giving for that, because that was not serious. She held back and waited for that car to pass and then change into the right lane, and that was safe. So I'm not sure yet. I'm just assuming if that was the reason, then that was really not the right one for that situation. But if it was awareness and planning, like I said, we already had one earlier on, so then that would have been two if it was awareness and planning. But again, so this is just my own opinion from the video.
The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Now, remember that when you're driving in a narrow road, there is no reason why you should be this close to whatever is on your left, especially if there is no oncoming vehicle from the opposite direction. Just, use a little bit of that space to create some safe gap between you and the wall, or you and the bush in this case. So it was at this roundabout that she got the serious fault that I do remember from the test. So the van ahead is actually turning right, taking the third exit, but the learner was paying most attention to her right, and as she moves off for an opportunity, she failed to see the van coming around to turn right, and that was it. Now, the problem here is that I tried to figure out if the van actually signaled or not. But from the video, it looks to me like the van did not actually signal to take that turn. Although that's not an excuse, because this is why you should be taking good observation to know what is in front of you before you move off at roundabout. But the reason why I am picking out the van driver's signal is to remind you all as well the importance of signal. If the van had signaled just at the point where I took the first pause, it would have been more clearer for everyone else around to figure out what that van driver is going to be doing. Because maybe she must have looked ahead to see the van, and at that point the van had no signal, so she made a judgment at that point, which would be too soon or too early to make. And this happens many of the times. So this is an example for you to remind yourself of the reason why you should be signaling on time, in good time, at junctions and roundabouts. Of course, if it is necessary. And I also forgot to mention that if you actually replayed the video, you would realize that she would have actually made it safely through that roundabout if she had not hesitated. An opportunity came, but she sat there for another 1-2 seconds. Then by the time she moves off, it was too late. And of course, at this point, the learner was now worrying and thinking about that situation at the roundabout. And bear in mind what would happen when you do this. You would do another thing. And that is exactly what happened here. And that's why I paused it at this point. So at this point, the car in front has now signaled to turn right. But the learner is stuck in her mind thinking about the situation at the roundabout. So she did not react safely or on time to this. And there you go. So we now have the second serious fault to respond to signs and signals. So, as you would see here, they are now on Bontage Lane, heading back to the test center. So, I hope you have learned one or two things from this video, but unfortunately, this learner has now failed the fourth attempt of the driving test. Yes, the fourth attempt. And good news, I mean, at least we have got another test coming up, which is going to be the fifth attempt. So let us hope, fingers crossed, that this time around we get it through. So yes, don't forget, guys, if you find these videos useful, if you find them helpful, I would really appreciate your support. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment below if you've got any questions or any suggestions or even anything to do with the test itself that you have just watched. Leave a comment below. And remember, if you wish to support the channel financially, there is a super thanks icon beneath or below the video. It's like a heart icon, and you can use that to make a little donation to the channel. Nothing is too small, a pound or two, £3, anything would really help the channel. So that is really it. And remember, Fridays I do give mock tests now. If you want to find out about that, the rate, the cost, then contact me directly. And also I give two lucky learners free mock tests on Fridays as well. So if you want to stand a chance of getting the free mock test, then go on Instagram, follow the channel on Instagram, and then leave a message letting me know your driving or your learning journey. So how many tests have you done? If you haven't at all, then yeah, have you got tests coming up? How many lessons roughly have you done? Just give me a good idea of what your journey has been like, and then would take a lucky winner. And I normally would do one random and one based on your journey, so it is a little bit of mix of both. So yeah, anyway, so that is really it. So now we are back to Roslyn Way, just before the test center. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you for your viewership, and I would see you again in the next driving test video or any other video. So don't forget, stay blessed. Good luck with your driving test. Good luck with your driving lessons, and have a lovely week. Stay blessed. One love. Peace.
Our hearts beat to the city streets, we began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine.